Imagine sending out 500 job applications and hearing nothing. Then you turn on the news and hear economists calling this one of America's strongest job markets. Somehow, both of those things are true. On paper, the economy looks surprisingly healthy. Unemployment remains low, and officials continue describing the labor market as resilient. But one detail completely changes the picture. Employers reported around 7.6 million open jobs, yet only about 5.1 million people were actually hired that month. Companies say they're hiring. Millions of people say nobody is hiring them. Those two realities shouldn't exist at the same time, yet they do. At first, it looked like another story about artificial intelligence replacing workers. But the deeper we investigated, the more obvious it became. AI wasn't the whole answer. Because this story isn't really about unemployment. It's about something much harder to see. A hiring system that may no longer be designed to hire. That's what makes this investigation so confusing. If you walk through New York, Chicago, or Washington, everything looks normal. Offices are open, people are commuting, businesses are operating. Nothing looks like a recession. The numbers seem to support that picture. America's unemployment rate has remained around 4.3%. In most economies, that usually signals a healthy labor market where companies compete aggressively for workers. But that's where the story starts to fall apart. In April 2026, employers reported roughly 7.6 million open positions, yet actual hiring dropped to only 5.1 million. Companies were posting jobs but hiring fewer people. For job seekers, the experience felt completely different. Applications disappeared into silence. Interviews became rare. Even highly qualified candidates described spending months searching without receiving a single offer. The explanation wasn't mass layoffs. In fact, companies were holding on to the employees they already had. Fewer people were quitting, fewer people were being hired. The entire labor market was slowly locking itself in place. This wasn't a hiring boom. It wasn't a recession either. It was something much harder to recognize, a labor market that looked healthy from the outside while quietly freezing from within. The obvious explanation would be that companies simply couldn't afford to hire, but that's not what the evidence shows. In many cases, businesses weren't running out of money, they were choosing to become more cautious with it. For years, cheap money encouraged companies to expand aggressively, but higher interest rates changed that calculation. Suddenly, holding cash became safer than taking risks on new hiring. One of the clearest examples came from Berkshire Hathaway. Instead of rushing to invest, the company accumulated nearly $400 billion in cash and short-term treasury bills while waiting for better opportunities. Then came another layer of uncertainty. Tariffs, geopolitical tensions, and fragile supply chains made future costs harder to predict. Instead of expanding payrolls, many companies decided to wait. What makes this unusual is that profits didn't collapse. In fact, many large corporations continued reporting record margins. They discovered they could protect earnings without significantly increasing headcount. At the same time, government workforce reductions added even more experienced workers into an already crowded job market. Competition increased, while hiring slowed. Then we found the first piece of evidence. Millions of job listings didn't necessarily mean millions of real hiring decisions. Some openings existed for weeks, even months, without anyone ever being hired. Research into the hiring market found that roughly 1 in 7 active job postings showed signs of being ghost jobs, positions that were never intended to be filled immediately, or sometimes at all. Even when a position was real, getting noticed became another challenge. Recruiters were overwhelmed by applications, forcing companies to rely on automated screening systems long before a human ever looked at a resume. Applications surged while recruiting teams became smaller. The result was simple. Software filtered enormous volumes of resumes before recruiters could realistically review them. From the applicant's perspective, it felt like disappearing into a black hole. No rejection, no interview, often no response at all. The hiring system hadn't stopped working. It had been redesigned to filter, delay, and reduce risk, which raised an even bigger question. If this system benefits companies, who pays the price? The first people to feel the impact weren't senior executives, they were new graduates. For decades, entry-level jobs served as the first step into a career. Now, many of those first steps are disappearing. Many routine tasks that once trained junior employees can now be completed by AI. Companies increasingly expect entry-level applicants to arrive with skills that used to be developed only after years of experience. Researchers found something even more surprising. The collapse in junior hiring wasn't explained by artificial intelligence alone. The shift toward remote work also reduced the informal mentoring that once helped inexperienced workers become productive. When full-time opportunities disappear, people rarely stop working. Many simply move into freelance, gig, or part-time jobs while continuing to search for stable careers. Official employment statistics still count them as employed. The result is a labor market that appears stable from the outside, but feels increasingly fragile for the people trying to enter it. And that leads to the biggest question of all. Is this temporary, or is this what the future of hiring looks like? By now, a different picture begins to emerge. Every clue we've followed points to the same conclusion. The hiring system hasn't simply slowed down, it has fundamentally changed. Companies learned they could protect profits by slowing hiring, automating more decisions, and asking fewer people to do more work. From a business perspective, the strategy often worked, but the cost didn't disappear. It shifted onto job seekers, recent graduates, and anyone trying to enter the workforce for the first time. The bridge into stable careers became narrower than it had been for decades. This story started as a question about unemployment, but the evidence points somewhere much larger. This isn't really a story about AI. It isn't even a story about unemployment. It's a story about how modern companies have redesigned the way human talent is filtered, selected, and developed. And perhaps that's the real lesson. The hardest part of today's job market isn't finding an open position. It's getting through a system that increasingly rewards efficiency, minimizes risk, and rarely lets people see how it truly works.